There are many great comedies out there that make us laugh, but there is one that is at the top of my list. Not only is the story hilarious, but it has a star-studded cast that makes the movie even more of a treasure. The movie that I'm referring to is the 1989 cult classic, The Burbs. The movie was directed by Joe Dante, who directed great movies such as 1981's The Howling, 1984's Gremlins, and 1987's Inner Space. He did a great job capturing suspense mixed with humor masterfully. The music in this movie is perfect, capturing every moment perfectly. The music was composed and conducted by the late great Jerry Goldsmith. Jerry Goldsmith has written great scores for films such as 1970's Patton, 1982's First Blood, and 1990's Total Recall. He masterfully brings together the elements of excitement, humor, and intensity through his score. Another element that brings this story to life is the great cast. The Burbs stars an actor who has become one of the greatest actors in the industry. This actor is none other than Tom Hanks. Tom has been in movies such as 1987's Dragnet, 1994's Forrest Gump, and 2006's The Da Vinci Code. Tom Hanks plays Ray Peterson, one of the main characters who suspects his neighbors of committing a sinister act against one of their own. However, he does not want to admit it because that would mean he would have to do something about it since he lives right next to them. Later, he and some other neighbors did some investigating to try to prove the evil doings that their neighbors were committing. During all this, Ray kept on trying to keep in his wife's good graces so that he wouldn't get into trouble. Ray Peterson's wife is played by the late great Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher has been in movies such as 1980's The Blues Brothers and 1991's Drop Dead Fred. However, she is most known for playing the character Princess Leia in the sci-fi drama hit Star Wars. In this role, she is constantly trying to keep a level head about everything and keep her husband from getting into huge trouble along with the other neighbors. One of the neighbors is Ricky Butler, played by Corey Feldman. Corey has been in movies such as 1985's The Goonies, 1986's Stand By Me, and 1987's The Lost Boys. Corey is an observer in the neighborhood. He associates with the others, but does not take an active role in spying on the neighbors in question. He is a teenager in the neighborhood and just likes to party with his friends and watch activities of the others. Another neighbor is Art Weingarter, who is played by the late Rick Ducommun. Rick has been in movies such as 1989's Little Monsters, 1992's Encino Man, and 1993's Groundhog Day. Rick is a neighbor who has suspected the neighbors from the beginning. He is a huge driving force in taking spying on the neighbors to a whole different level. The next neighbor is Mark Rumsfeld, played by Bruce Dern. Bruce has been in movies such as 1996's Down Periscope and 1999's The Haunting. However, the role he is most known for is 1972's The Cowboys. In this character, he shoots and kills John Wayne. In interviews, he always jokes that his career wasn't as it should have been because he was forever been branded as the man who shot John Wayne in The Cowboys. The neighbors that have been on everyone's watch list are the infamous Klopeks. These characters are perfectly cast. The Klopeks are played by three actors. The first Klopek is played by the late Henry Gibson. Henry has been in movies such as 1980's The Blues Brothers, 1987's Inner Space, and 1988's Switching Channels. In this role, he plays a doctor, which adds to the sinister role he plays. The next Klopek is played by Courtney Gaines. Courtney has been in movies such as 1984's Children of the Corn, 1987's Can't Buy Me Love, and 1985's Back to the Future. In Back to the Future, Courtney has a small role, and not many know that he's even in the film. He first appears in the movie when he is picking on the character George McFly from the past in high school. But in this film, The Burbs, he plays one of the key villains. The scene where he makes his first appearance in this film is iconic and makes for the perfect introduction.
Ray! Ray! Ray, come here. What is it?
It's my neighbor.
Hey, one of the Huns came out of the cave.
The third and last Klopek is the Doctor's older brother, Reuben, played by the late Brother Theodore. Brother Theodore hasn't been involved in anything huge in the cinematic world, but he is well known for his stage presence in many theaters around the San Francisco Bay Area. However, his role contributes to the creepy characteristics within the family of Klopeks. This film certainly has its share of jumps and laughs, but what makes this movie pure magic is the freedom that was granted to the actors to improvise quite a bit on set. Because this movie was being shot when a writer's strike was going on, they had to rely on each other as professionals to come up with lines and scenes that were not so clear on paper. One of the scenes that came to mind was when the neighbors enter the Klopeks' house to finally have a sit-down meeting with them and try to get to know them. During the scene, you see Bruce Dern's character, Mark Rumsfeld, sitting in one of the chairs in the house, and what he does was not scripted, but just happened. His peeling off the wallpaper and trying to put it back on added to the many quirks of the neighbors and also added to the humor of the film. Another scene that comes to mind is at the end of the movie when Tom Hanks' character, Ray Peterson, has been blown up and needs to go to the hospital.
I've been blown up! Take me to the hospital! Take me to the hospital, I'm sick.
In this scene, we see Tom pick up the gurney and throw it into the ambulance. This was a totally improvised moment by Tom Hanks. Besides all the elements that made this movie the wonderful cult classic that it is, there's also the location where it was shot. This movie was shot on the backlots at Universal Studios. In fact, this neighborhood has been used in many TV shows like The Desperate Housewives. But there is one house that is used in this movie that has a history behind it. This would be the house that Corey Feldman's character, Ricky Butler, lives. In the movie, you can't really tell that there is anything special about the house because the front has been totally redone. However, this house has been used in a huge TV hit. This house was used for the Munster House in the 1964 TV hit, The Munsters. Many things about this movie make it great, but I will leave it up to you to see for yourselves. This movie is just pure magic and continues to entertain and make the audience laugh over and over again.